So, welcome back to my garage. This is Gamer Dom. Today I thought, in honour of Chinese New Year, I thought I'd look at the 110, which is the Chinese Tier 8 heavy tank. This little thing. Let's say little. It's quite a beastie. Look at that big old gun. Anyway, so the 110 is really a Chinese copy of the Russian IS3. Yeah, they don't look exactly right. The 110 looks like it's been squashed. It's much narrower and a bit higher than the IS3. So, but basically that's what it's based on. Basically that's what it's based on. It's based on the IS3, and it plays a similar kind of game, to be honest, but it's not as good. So let's have a quick look at it, where it sits in the tech tree. The Chinese line is pretty simple one. Everything heads through the Type T34, and then you either head up around the light route to get to the WZ120 and the 121, or you come down the Type 58 and then either stay on the medium line or you change into the heavy. The IS-2 is basically the Chinese version of the IS Russian tank, and is a pretty good tank, not to be confused with the IS-2 Premium, which is a Russian Tier 8 heavy, Tier 7 heavy. So the IS-2 is the Chinese version of the standard IS on the Russian tech tree. From that you get to the 110, which sits here on Tier 8. Then it moves on to the apparently very, very good, I haven't got it yet, but WZ11114, and then the 113, which apparently has had a whole load of buffs, so it's not so bad. At one point that was one of the weakest Tier 10 heavies from what I've read, whereas the WZ was one of the strongest Tier 9s, so any road up. So the 110, it's a nice vehicle on the whole. The grind on it is not particularly great though. You have the standard 122mm gun. You will probably have this already. Yeah, from the IS-2 it's the same one. So you've got a half decent Tier 8 gun there. As with most of the 122s, the challenge with these guns is they have good alpha, but their rate of fire, aim time, dispersion are all horrible. So they really are close-up brawling tanks. So yeah, you have that. Really you want to get onto the top gun, which is the 100mm Chinese tank gun, which doesn't have quite the same alpha, but has far superior penetration and aim time, etc, etc, etc. So rest of the grind, you will need the tracks before you can unlock an awful lot on this tank. So you're gonna, what's that, 15,800 credits, XP to unlock the tracks. To get the top gun you need to unlock this turret, and that's another 15,500 XP. The engines don't add a huge amount, so you can delay on that. From when I ground this, first up you have to do the tracks. That allows you to take the extra top turret on this thing, and that in turn allows you to unlock the top gun. You will have both the 122mm guns, and you can do the engine and the radio when you have the time and inclination to do so. So this is what it looks like, fully researched. You notice it has this very pronounced beak. It looks like, apart from being squeezed inside to side, it looks like someone's kicked it like an IS3's kicked it really hard here, and that sort of lifted it further up. The IS3 has a beak, but it's take that picture out of the way. But it's nowhere near as pronounced as the 110. And that creates some challenges for you with this vehicle. Much like the IS3, you need to keep your armour pointing straight at the enemy, because if you do that kind of angling, you can see it flattens that surface out and you will get penetrated much easier. Whereas if you're here, and if you can hide this lower plate, shots will ping off here all the time. So anyway, let's have a look at it. 1550 hit points, which is 50 more than the IS3. So that's a good start. 50 is better than nothing. It's slightly heavier than the IS3 by a couple of tons, but that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Top engine gives it an engine power of 580 and a top speed of 40. By comparison, the IS3 has a 700 horsepower engine, and given the fact it is that slightly lighter, this has better acceleration than the 110. However, it only has a top speed of 38. So in theory, while the IS3 will get away from the lights quicker, so to speak, the 110 should catch up because it's slightly quicker on top speed. Traverse speed is 30, which is exactly the same as the IS3. So let's move on to the second most important thing, I guess, the armour. Now we all know that the IS3 is pretty trollish with its armour. It really is borderline OP if you know what you're doing with this vehicle. You've got this beak at the front which will bounce shells. The 110 armour at the front is okay. If you can keep that lower plate covered, shells will bounce off here. The side armour on the hull has areas of spaced armour, and so the tracks and the spaced armour will eat a lot of shots. And if you get the opportunity to angle and hide this beak, you can get something down here, a rock or a wall, an angle like that, you're almost impenetrable. The turret is even stronger, 240, but it does have this glaring wake spot. So how does that compare with the 110? So the 110 has better hull armour, at least at the front. So it has an extra 10mm armour at the front, so it has 120. This beak is even more pronounced than on the IS3. So again, if you can get in a position where your lower plate, which is Grand Canyon proportions, but if you can hide it somehow, you will bounce shells off this lower hull. It really is very bouncy. Now you do not have the spaced armour that the IS3 has, so your side armour is nowhere near as effective as the IS3's. However, again, if you can get in a position where this beak is protected so that you're not angling it and creating a flat surface for someone shooting, you can side scrape with this 110, but you have to be careful. Really and truthfully, you're better off keeping that beak pointed straight at the enemy. Turret wise is weaker, so you've got slightly better hull armour but much weaker turret armour, whereas the IS3 had the 249 frontal armour on the turret. This has 201. However, it is pretty rounded, and while these cupolas are in theory weak spots, they're pretty small and quite hard to hit, and you don't have that great big, well, it's not massive, but that fairly large hatch which is on the back of the gun on the IS3. Yeah, and if so, the 110 doesn't have that, which is a bonus, frankly. So you've got reasonably good hull armour. Turret's not fantastic, but it's not bad either. Side of the turret is 90, It's nice and rounded, so you know you may get some bounces off there. And the rear of the sorry, what am I talking about? Side of the turret is 148, which is pretty good given it's rounded like that. The back of the turret, however, is only 50, so that's pretty weak. I mentioned the hull armour, 120 at the front, 90 at the side, but no spaced armour, and 60 at the rear. So this is a tank where your armour is largely at the front and it's largely hull based. So if you're fighting one of these and you can't see this lower, well, this canyon here on the lower plate, then try and hit the turret. It is quite well rounded, but you can get some pens in it. View range is 380, which is better than the IS3. IS3 is 350. You know, so extra 30 meters of spotting range, which is useful. You know, but then again, you're a heavy tank. You're not really going to be out there spotting. Radio range is 750 with the top radio, so you know, again, pretty good. But nobody ever cares about that. So let's look at the guns. So just talked about them earlier. You've got the top gun on this tank, and I'll bring up the IS3's gun just for comparison. So the top gun on the 110 is this rather nice 100mm 62 100T. As the name suggests, it's 100mm. It has a pretty reasonable rate of fire, 6 rounds per minute, so you can out DPM an IS3, which is useful. You also have pretty reasonable penetration, 215, but that's slightly lower than the BL9 that's on the IS3. That's 225, so 10 less. However, your APCR, which is the premium shell on the 100, is exactly the same in terms of penetration as the IS3's premium shells, which is 265. Your HE shell is slightly less penetration because it's only 100mm instead of 122, so that only has a 50 penetration. So you don't really want too much HE on this gun, installed in this tank, because it's not particularly effective. Alpha is smaller than the 110, so you're giving up a little bit of penetration and a little bit of alpha in exchange for a quicker rate of fire and better accuracy, effectively, with this tank. So the damage is still pretty reasonable. The 320 is the average on both the standard AP rounds and the APCR rounds, which is, you know, pretty good, but you're not going to get those 400s that the IS3 can get and does get. Dispersion is 0.38 as opposed to 0.4 on the IS3's gun, so that's pretty good. Aim time is considerably better. It's only 2.9, so which, you know, is far better than those 120s that you get on the Russian tanks. 3.4 is the aim time on the IS3's gun. So yeah, it's a nice gun. A nice gun on this thing, and that's really the difference. You're basically getting an IS3 with slightly worse armor all round, I would say. Pretty much the same mobility, but a more accurate and faster firing gun, and that's basically the difference between the two. I have to say, you know, I don't mind this tank. I've played quite a lot of games now, and it's 78 games. I'm averaging about well, 1100 damage and 1200 experience in it, but I don't think I'll be keeping it. It's not a keeper like the IS3. The IS3 feels more of a brawler because it has that ridiculous armor. You can scrap very close in with it. This thing, because it has this massive weak spot on the front under that pike, and because it doesn't have quite the same alpha, it feels more like a sort of second in tank. You're not rushing in with the ISs, you're just slightly behind, taking advantage of your rate of fire and good gun handling. It can brawl, but you know, I don't think it's as good a brawl as the IS3. So let's take it out and see what we can do with it. Show it off. So here we are on Abbey. It's a tier 8 game, so we've got pretty good matchmaking. I'm a firm believer on Abbey if you're in a heavy to go to the 1-2 line, or even if you're in a medium to go to the 1-2 line. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to scoot over there. The mobility is not too bad on this vehicle. I'm doing somewhere around 30-35 as I go up and down the slope. 36 I hit there briefly. Get a bit more as I come down this slope. So it's not the fastest, but it's not bad either. It's not a bad heavy really. So we look like we've got plenty of support this side, which is good. Panther 2 should see anything in front of us, and the T-34 100 likewise. They'll both contact the enemy before we do, hopefully, so we'll know what we're dealing with. IS3 would be an interesting one to fight. These two tanks are pretty similar, but different enough to make it an interesting fight between the two of them. Nothing I can see down there, my sixth sense hasn't gone off. So we'll push on up and round. Down the 2 line now. There's almost always someone around here. The beauty of these sort of positions here is you can actually get shots into the monastery, although we seem to be doing okay there. So there's an IS being spotted. I can deal with an IS. He's easy peasy. Oh, and there we go. IS3 put one under his bottom plate. He took 419 off me. I did 359 off him, which is not a great exchange, but I've got the Jag Panther to support me, so I'm going to do what I can here. Let's push down. He's fired, so let's see if we can get another shot under his plate. No, I bounced. The gun bounced, which is really annoying. Jag Panther's going a bit ham. He's put a big shot into him. Oh, don't want to shoot the Jag Panther. Out of the way. Another one under his plate. 3, and this gun is pretty accurate, so he's down. He's down, so that's good. Right, let's IS, give him a nice big shell, and we'll push on. We'll also lock. Oh, he's dead. Okay, right, let's keep going. Oh, who hit me? It was a T-150 behind me. I didn't realise. He's firing HE at me, which is kind of lucky because with his gun he could have done some serious damage to my rear. As it was, I took less than 100 damage in 2 shots. Oh, Comet's renting. Oh well, whatever. So 6-0, so it's looking pretty convincing really. So the mobility is pretty good, the gun is pretty accurate. DPM, actual damage on the shot. C152, let's pull back, I don't really want to take 150. Oh, an RT hit me. But, so I should have dropped off his radar, but where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Right, can we get a shot on him? He's a long way away. He's pulling back. Now, I know that shot wasn't entirely aimed, but I've no idea where it went. He's pulled back into safety. So, let's see. Oh, there's an HTC there. I bounce him, but I can't pen him from there. Oh, look down the 9 line, 8-9 line. They've got quite a lot of tanks coming through. Then we've only got an Emil, apart from artillery. I'm never going to get that HTC. I'm safe at the moment. Come on, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. Yes. Ah! Bugger. Actually, it's just not quick enough. And now, of course, he pulls back, and I could have had a proper shot on him, and I hadn't. Come on. Oh, at least I hit him. So I did 322. Oh, there's the spick. Can I get a shot on him? No. He's pulled back. Our base is in real trouble. I'm going to have to go back. We are 10-6 up. I'm going to leave our boys to clear out the arty. I'm going back because I don't want to risk it for a biscuit. Oh, and then, yeah, so that's one of the arty down. That's good. They're in our base. Yeah. I should have time to get back. I think there's only 2 of them there. Oh, now there's the Bert. Okay, so that's a bit more pressing. Oh, what the hell does it looks like the KV2's come out, the cap. What's he doing? What an idiot. Wow. Well, that's just thrown them any chance of winning this game, I would suggest. You'll see, yep, the Bert's dead. He was never going to stand a chance out there. So, we know that there is a Borsig somewhere, we know there's a Spick somewhere, and we know there's a KV2, and they were all last seen, well, oh, that's the Spick, so he's up there. So the other 2 were seen down and around our base. So I'm going to push in and see what we can see, and see if we can pick up some more damage. On 1600 damage, which is not too bad, but well, there he is. He's not looking at me. Is he even active? Yes, he is, but he's dead. Come on, reload. A bit of surprise butt sex. Oh, somebody else got him. Bugger. So where is that Borsig? Where is that Borsig? Oh, well, there he is. What's he doing there? He must have disconnected. He shouldn't be doing. He must be disconnected. Please can I get a kill? Please can I get a kill? Please can I get a kill? No, I can't get a kill. Oh well, never mind. GG. So, that was an okay game. 3rd class mastery, fire for effect, and Confederate. I actually always like getting Confederate because I just think it shows that you played the team game, that you haven't gone for the cheap kills. You've done as much damage as you possibly can, and that's certainly what I tried to in that game. We finished. Where did we finish? 3rd on XP. Top on damage. That's pretty good. Quite happy with that. Fired 13 shots. Hit with 9 of them. Penetrated with 8 of them. 2,323 damage, which is pretty good. We got the 1 kill, didn't we? 1 kill? Yeah, 1 kill. We received 5 shots, 4 of them penetrated, which is a little bit annoying. 1 bounced, so we didn't bounce an awful lot in that game. We couldn't really get in a position where our armour was safe, and one of those shots was from Arty anyway. So yeah, what do we do? 40,000 credits after cost, 21.8 thousand credits. So yeah, okay. Yeah, what hit us? Oh, I don't know. We bounced a T28 concept shell. I remember that. But hey ho, not a bad matchup. But it shows the 110 in reasonable glory. Okay, so this time we're on Pilsen. It's a less than favourable tier 10 matchup. But there's not too many. There's 3 tier 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tier 9s on their side. So it's what you have to deal with when you're in a tier 8. So I love this map. I really enjoy it. I think it's got lots of good features for pretty much all vehicles. There's something for them to do in this map, and it's quite a big map as well, which I also prefer. Gets away from those horrible corridor maps that you get too often these days. So I'm going to head over, even though I'm not a top heavy here, I'm going to head over to the left flank because I just like the cover that there is here and the ability to sort of find your way through these buildings and cause mayhem. So I'm going to whiz through here. I don't know what that T-54 is doing, but whatever. I'm going to head up here, see if I can spot anything through this gap. Nothing there. Oh, there's an ST1 coming up behind me. I'll leave him for that. Oh, there's Bulldog, right. He's not looking, don't know what he's doing, but we'll take some cheap damage. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move because I've got Love and a T10 and can't get a shot around there. But I'm proxy spotted by that Bulldog, which is a bit annoying. Got premium loaded. Why have I got premium? Oh, well, never mind. I'm going to reload now. Nice 3. Oh, there's a T110. Can I get a shot on him? Oh, he just moved, and then I took a big hit from that IS3. Where did he appear from? Didn't see him coming at all. Damn. Okay. Well, I've got friends at least. This Jag Tiger. Oh, he took a big hit. Can I get a shot through there? They're all just getting in the way. I'm trying not to get a block or Tiger. Jag Tiger. Put a shell in. What happened to that? What happened to that shell? Oh well. Okay, so I'm not doing much good here. I'm just getting in the way. So I'm going to push around and help that Ferdy. If we can kill that IS3, then we can get round behind the IS4 and the T110. So let's whiz around here. Use a bit of speed. Can I get? Oh, he's dead. I didn't need my help at all. So we've done nothing really. Oh, hang on. There's a shot on the IS4, which is nice. Don't think I'll be able to pen that T110, but let's have a try. Oh, he's just turned side on. I think I tracked him there. Did I track him? I think I did. So I can get one on me. Ah, they're all going to block my shots. Oh, damn it. Can I get a kill? No. Oh dear. They're all just feeding frenzy there. So it's 6-4. We've won this flank quite easily, but we've lost the other flank, so we're going to have to push up. Oh, that's a WZ. Waffenträger Alpha Panzer 4. A massive 75 hit point kill there. Oh well. Takes him off the battlefield, which is the important thing. They're in our cap, damn. I'm not going to go the direct route. We've got tanks there that should reset, hopefully. I'm going to come around this way and see if we can get some shots from where they were. Ah, damn, I was hoping I could get that T62A, but he was pulling round. So, oh, there's a T30 there, hiding behind the Hetzer carcasses. You see me probably. Yep, you see me. Can we put a shell in him? Ow! Ow! Flipping heck. Mind you, he's fine premium, which would just go through my armour like a knife through butter. So I'm basically a one shot. I've done 1,000 damage. Bugger. Not been a great match so far. Here comes the T62, but I'm going to help this Verdi still. Oh, that was a bit of a glitch there. I did have a lock on. Got one good shot into him. And he's doing a good job of shielding himself from my fire. That was a good hit. 350. I'm going to get... Oh, I was lucky there. 8 hit points. Can I get one more hit on him before I die? Can I? In the rear? Yep, got him. I'm going to die. Oh well. Well, you know. Oh, it's 14-8 anyway. So, we've won. Shame really, I thought I could do more there. But, oh, good job. IS4 reporting the position of his own tank just because he's died. Well, he deserves to be reported. Idiot. Don't understand that sort of behaviour. Yeah, you've lost the game. Well, why do you have to then go saying things like where the enemy are or where your own tanks are just because you've died? Just ridiculous. Anyway, it's been a reasonable match-up. We did okay. You see the mobility of this vehicle. So there you go, that's a win. Well, it was a slightly better results screen than I was expecting, but I guess because it was a tier 10, it's will do better. So because you always get more hit points for hitting higher tier vehicles, so or more XP for hitting higher tier vehicles. So we've got a second class mastery there, another 5 for effect. We finished. Oh, wrong one. We finished. Oh, we finished top on XP. Well, that's very nice. Very nice indeed. We were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on damage, you know, and we were in a tier 8 vehicle in a tier 10 match, so that's pretty good. 10 shots, 7 hits, and all 7 penetrated for our 2000 plus damage. We took 4 hits and all 4 penetrated. So again, not really showing off the armour to its full effect there. We were fighting tanks that were much higher level than us, and that T-35 premium at us, which just ripped straight through any armour we had. Generally, you can bounce stuff in this. It's not as good as bouncing as the IS3, but it's not bad. 36,000 credits after cost 17,000. So yeah, not a bad match-up on it for a tier 10. So there you go, that's the 110, the Chinese tier 8 heavy tank. So, you know, on balance, it's probably a weak IS3. You don't see an awful lot of people using them, and once I've researched through it, I will certainly be selling it. Even with a good crew, and I have got a very good crew in this, they're on their third skills. It's just not as good as the IS3, simply. Unfortunately, I like the Chinese tanks, I like the Japanese tanks, but this one is not as good as its equivalent, is all I'll say. Yes, it has a more accurate, quicker firing gun, but its armor profile isn't good enough. You will take shots left, right and center, and it doesn't have that stupid Russian trollish sidearm on it, so when tanks get around the side of you, you'll just die, frankly, whereas the IS3, for some, you know, you can sometimes get lucky. But for all that, it's not a bad tank. It's just not as good as the IS3. That's all I can say, really. So anyway, let me know what you think. Please, if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and a subscribe for future content. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you again sometime soon. Just remember, it is a game, and just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. See you later.